AOC and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus were heckled yesterday after Democrats toured the Roosevelt Hotel, which now is a shelter, emergency shelter for illegal immigrants.
And what we seek to do, is to make sure that all the
Close the border, they're yelling at her. And of course, in 2018, AOC led a movement to abolish ICE, complete with photos of the squad members crying outside of CBP detention centers.
Arizona Congressman Juan Ciscomani joins us now to react. Great to see you, Congressman. Thanks for being with us this morning. You know, do you think when you see this reaction in New York to AOC and her fellow congressional Democrats when it comes to the border, that it's a reflection of elected representatives not representing the interest of their people? Or is it, in fact, they have represented the interest of people who have voted for sanctuary cities?
Well, listen, one thing that I've been saying from the very beginning is that with this border crisis, every state has become a border state. And now we're seeing it up in New York as well. And that reaction that you played is exactly a reflection of that. That's what we've been saying for years now. It's not even months, it's years. Now, if New York is feeling that kind of pressure, imagine what Arizona feels. And this is a reflection of the failed policies of the left. And it's not only this year or last year, but what's been coming. And yeah, people voted for these sanctuary cities, and now they're facing the consequences of that. But the blame is on the Biden administration. It's on Alejandro Mayorkas, who continue to play a deaf ear to what's happening, even in states like New York. And listen, New York has been getting tens of millions of dollars more than Arizona has. So they're still in bad shape. Now, my job is to advocate for Arizona when we're getting a fraction of the funding that New York is getting. And we just saw 13,000 apprehensions this week in the Tucson sector. That's troubling. And this administration is not moving in the right direction on that.
You know, Congressman, you're right. A lot of what we've seen are images out of Texas, but right now it's Arizona that's being absolutely flooded. And there are new images that show illegal immigrants being detained in outdoor Border Patrol holding areas in the Tucson area. Facilities completely overwhelmed, over capacity. We're hearing, I'd be interested in what you're hearing as well, mass releases with notices to appear for 3, 4, 5 years later. They're calling them freedom runs. I mean, they're just letting people out on the street now.
I'm telling you, you're seeing this in Ajo, Arizona, where people are being held in literally cages in outdoor facilities. Now, we're still seeing, over 100-degree weather in Arizona right now. You guys were talking about fall weather in other parts of the country. Not here. We're still over 100 degrees, and that's what's happening. And the street releases are also happening all throughout southern Arizona. County that I represent, Cochise County, is seeing a big part of that. And this is now happening in the streets, just being released because these NGOs and all our departments as well are completely overwhelmed, and they don't have any capacity. So this is happening. And I'm telling you, the morale of the agents is low. I go around town when I'm back in the district like I am now, talking to parents and school functions and grocery store. And when I run into the spouses of these agents, they are demoralized. They don't feel supported. They don't know what to do. They feel overwhelmed and underpowered.
Congressman, I'm happy to see that AOC's constituents are holding her responsible for what's happening to her own district because of illegal immigration. But you're right. She doesn't give a darn about what's happening in Arizona, which is 100 times worse than anything that's happening in her district. And she's not at those cages that you talked about right there. She was there when Trump was in office, when he was trying to divide children from adults so we could determine if they were actually the parents or not. But when she sees this, or the many trucks that have come across this country with people in the back, as you said, talking about those temperatures, people on the East Coast don't understand just how hot it gets in Arizona. It's unbelievable. Why hasn't the media held her more accountable?
Well, what we have to do is we have to stop politicizing this issue, and we have to start prioritizing it. And that's what AOC and others in Congress just don't understand. That definitely Biden doesn't, and neither does Mayorkas. Listen, I'm an immigrant. I've gone through the process. I know this process better than anyone else in Congress. So I feel for the people that are going through this situation too, Rachel. I mean, I'm an immigrant. I went through the process, like I said. I feel it. I pursued the American dream. This is a humanitarian issue as much as it is a national security issue, but they just don't get it. And whatever solution they think they're offering is off. And then Biden and Mayorkas continue to play a blind eye to it.
Yeah. So right now, the process is no process, and everyone suffers as a result.
No process.
Congressman Juan Ciscomani, thank you so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.